What's up, guys? Welcome back to Zilla MMA. I am your host, as always, the Zilla. Want to start as I start every video, and that's by thanking you, the viewers. Really appreciate you guys watching all my videos. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Really helps us in creating more new content for you. In this video, I'm going to keep it really brief. Just go over my best bets for this card. Also giving out my DraftKings lineup for this week and my prize picks plays. Shout out Lawson, one of my most dedicated viewers, gave me a thanks for the prize picks last week. That was our best hits, probably. Had a flex play that we hit 2 of 3 on. Last week, kind of a tough card to bet straight. We had a lot of big favorites, so parlays was the name of the game last week. A lot of those got screwed up by the Bonfim brothers. One of them didn't fight. The other one loses in the upset, so that really messed us up a lot last week. And then our prize picks, we had a late scratch after they had already locked, so we were done before it had even really began. So tough outing last week, but we move on, and this week is a lot better for straight bets, which is the more responsible way to bet. We've got a lot of close to even lines or dogs that we like that we can bet on this card. So very beneficial to us there. 4 dogs on this card. You can go back and get my breakdown on my breakdown video that I posted last night. Kong, Borshev, Sabatini, and Frivola, all dogs on this card. Going to put a half unit on each of them. You can see the return, 1.02 for Kong, 1.1 for Borshev, 0.93 for Sabatini, 1.4 for Frivola. And then the co-main and main event, the title fights, both very close to even odds on both of those fights. I feel slightly more confident in Pereira than Pavlovich. Obviously, if Pavlovich gets taken down, things could go south for him. I still don't think that they will, in my opinion. I know that's an unpopular opinion. I don't think he's going to be able to be held down as easily as people think. But I see a better path for Aspinall to beat Pavlovich in that spot. So dropping a 1-unit play on that one, return of 1.95. And then I'm just not liking what I'm seeing from Yuri coming into this fight. He looks a little softer than he did when he left before. Some rumors about the stuff that he had going on with USADA. Maybe he's off the juice. I don't want to speculate on that stuff. Or maybe he isn't as prepared coming off his injury as people want us to believe, and is still having issues with his shoulder. I know there's a lot of stuff he was putting out like 2 months afterwards that he was back into training and everything with that shoulder. No scars, which is kind of weird. Don't really understand the procedure he had there. There's people who said it was the worst shoulder injury of all time, so I don't want to speculate on all that, but even completely healthy, I like the path for Pereira here a lot more. I think Pereira is better on the feet. And so I'm going to drop 1.25 units on Pereira on this spot. Return of 2.25 units on that play. And then we'll go into my parlays. Not as many this week. I wanted to have a play on pretty much every fight this week, so I do have a fighter in every one of them. Emerson Van, the first 2 fights on the card, not 2 fights that I'm very confident in, but I do want to have a little action on it, so I'm putting 0.25 units on that one, return of 0.49 units if we get the victory there. Rodbecki, obviously the biggest favorite on the card. Yesterday, all the way up at minus 700, saw some spots up to minus 750, has come down to minus 650 on most sites that I have seen. I'm going to use him to get a couple guys that are a little higher than I want to straight bet up to a comfortable bet for me. That's going to be in Gordon and Urseg, both 2 guys I really like in their spots. I'm going to do 1 unit on each of those, 1.68 return on the Gordon parlay, 1.78 on the Urseg parlay. And then going to parlay the 2 women fights, not ones that I'm extremely confident in. If you heard my breakdown, Loopy, I think, better on the feet. Dern coming in against a fighter who seems a little washed up, but still not ones I'm super confident in. Definitely want to have a play out on it, though. So 0.25 units on that one, return of 0.57 units. Going into my DraftKings. Interesting card here for DraftKings. Rudbecki, a must play in my opinion. He's the highest salary on the card, and I was getting him in there no matter what. And then knowing that I'm going to need to save a little salary, I looked for my lower guys that I think have the potential to get a finish or to get a high score. Frivola, a good value play in my opinion on this card, just because the most likely route to victory for him, in my opinion, is probably a first round KO. I think there's a decent likelihood of that. That'd be really good scoring in that spot. Getting him at $7,100, it's the cheapest guy that I feel comfortable taking on this card. So went with Frivola in that spot. And then Kong, also a lot of value on him at $7,400. Two guys that I think are going to get the finishes are the main event and the co-main. Two guys that I know can do a lot of scoring, can land shots. Felt very important to get both of them in my lineup at $8,000 and $8,400, which left me with 95. And I know my last pick may not be the favorite for some people. There's some other people up there at the top. I know Van's still up there. Emmers is up there if that's a person you want to plug into that last spot. But Dern has done some really good scoring in her most recent fights, and I can see her really dominating Andrade if she shows up in the same way that she has in her last few outings. So I'm going to put Mackenzie Dern in my last spot, save $500 on salary to make me a little less chalky. I'm not using every dollar that I have in this lineup, and I feel pretty good about this one. So this is what I'm going to run with. If I was going to switch out anyone in this one, probably would be Dern. And like I said, you have the extra money, so you have your choice of pretty much anyone else you want on this card. And then finally, we're going to go into my prize picks. Haven't fully broken down how I'm going to play these yet, but I do have 5 plays on prize picks that I am liking that I've seen so far. First one's going to be Tom Aspinall, fantasy score under 76.5. I think he's going to struggle with Pavlovich. I think there's a good chance he's knocked out in the first round, and I don't think there's going to be much of a scoring opportunity for him. So, in my opinion, I think he's going to go under 76.5 fantasy score. And then 3 plays I really like on fight time. First one's going to be Joshua Van going over in his. It's at 12.5. I see this fight going the distance. If you saw my breakdown, there's a lot of fights I really like going the distance this week, and so that's why I'm going to take some overs. Same thing with the Sadikov and Borshev fight. I have Borshev winning that fight, but I think it's over the stretch of the 3 rounds, so I'm going to take over on that one as well. Pretty much just has to start the 3rd round for that one to hit. And then Sabatini-Lopez, I had that breakdown. Lopez is going to be fighting for submissions, probably off his back. Sabatini's going to be trying to control him, hold him down. If Lopez isn't able to execute a submission here, I see this going for a long time. I think this is going to be a decision as well. So I'm going to take Sabatini over 10.5 minutes in that fight. And then finally, the Benoit Saint Denis against Matt Frivola. I think he's going to get under 2 takedowns. As I said earlier, I see the upside with Frivola in this spot. I think there's even an off chance. Frivola's not a huge play for me. I think there's a chance that Frivola could get caught, taken out in the first round as well. But I don't really see a route where Benoit's landing these multiple takedowns and trying to bring this fight to the ground. I think these guys are probably going to throw. One of them is going to get the finish early. So I find it unlikely that he's going to have 2 takedowns in this spot, or at least over 2 takedowns. This one could be a push. But even at 2, I really don't see it going over that number. So I'm taking him under 2 takedowns in this spot. So, guys, I'll go ahead and pull up my straight bets back up here and go ahead and say I really appreciate, as I've said, all of you watching. I think we've got some really good bets on this card. Like I said, I love being able to bet fights individually. That's not always possible when we get these really big spreads on some of these fights. But this is a good card for it, and this is a good card. It should be fun. I'll have my recap video coming out either Sunday or Monday, just to give you an idea of how I felt about what went down with this card. Hopefully we're coming back making some money. But I really appreciate you guys watching. Again, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.